wherever you are. Bill Kelly knows weather. Weeknights on ABC 7 News.
Good morning, America. Arctic blast, the deep freeze ready to strike the Midwest and Upper Plains. Temperatures set to plummet with records tumbling. How low will it go in this life-threatening cold?
Breaking overnight, shooting rampage. An accused gunman on the run, wanted for killing 5 people, including his parents and girlfriend, considered armed and dangerous. The manhunt this morning to track him down.
Caught on camera, look at this, the man clinging to the hood of an SUV.
I thought he was going to run over me.
The road rage incident that started it all, and the man pulling a gun to try to stop it.
A royal apology. Prince Philip reaching out after that terrifying car accident, the letter he wrote to the women in the other car, and what he blames for that crash.
And awards night, rolling out the carpet for the SAG Awards, top talent being honored in a wide variety of roles.
We're going to the Catskills.
A look at the favorites this morning.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, America. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. The government reopening bit by bit in the wake of the longest shutdown in American history. And some are warning it could take months to get through the backlog of work.
But first, a deep freeze hitting the Midwest and Upper Plains this morning.
It's actually colder in Chicago right now than it is in parts of Alaska and Antarctica. So let's go to Rob, who's covering all. Rob, this does not seem fair.
Not fair at all, Dan. It's only going to get colder for Chicago and the eastern third of the country. Check out some of the snow that rolled across parts of Illinois yesterday. Westchester late in the day, coating the roadways there. Also, Moline seeing some snow, enough actually to cause some spinouts and crashes there on the highway. This little clipper system will dump maybe an inch or two of snow across the northeast interior sections and the higher elevations. And this one's coming down the pike. That's going to be the leading edge of the serious cold air to come. Monday, not too bad as far as the cold is concerned, but you can kind of see the starting of the cold air across parts of northern Minnesota. And look at these numbers. This is just shocking stuff. With the wind chills, it's going to feel like 50 degrees or more below zero Wednesday morning. In Minneapolis, getting close to 60 degrees below zero, 63 potentially in Fargo. This is dangerous cold, getting frostbite in a matter of minutes. Take care of your kids, take care of your pets, and stay indoors if you can. This will last at least through Thursday. More on this throughout the program. Guys, back over to you.
Rob, thank you. We want to turn now to another breaking story this morning, a shooting rampage in Louisiana.
And the manhunt going on right now. Police trying to track down the young man suspected of killing 5 people, including his parents and girlfriend. ABC's Ariel Reshef joins us now with more. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you guys. It is the shocking case that has authorities hunting for answers. A boyfriend suspected of killing his girlfriend and members of her family before gunning down his own parents.
This morning, the desperate hunt for an armed and dangerous killer after a shooting rampage that left 5 people dead in Louisiana. 21-year-old Dakota Terrio suspected of murdering his girlfriend Summer, her father, and her brother before killing his own parents.
14-640 Courtney Road, 2 possible deceased by gunshots. Suspect possibly still on scene. Be advised, possibly 3 deceased patients.
20-year-old Summer Ernest, her father Billy, and her teenage brother Tanner, all found shot in their Livingston home early Saturday morning. Police say 2 young children made it out of the home alive.
Those children that walked to the neighbor's house, a 7-year-old female, 1-year-old male, need to be checked out. They were barefoot, cold.
According to authorities, Terrio then stole Summer's father's car, driving to his parents' home in Ascension.
Went inside that trailer and he shot both his mother and his father. The father was, as you know, gravely injured at the time we found him and has since passed away, and we was able to get a dying declaration from him. Only enough information to let us know that it was his son that committed this act.
Police believe Terrio may be headed east in a gray and silver 2004 Dodge pickup truck with Louisiana plates and an LSU sticker in the back window. They say he is armed with a handgun and may have already crossed state lines.
In the last few years, it has been the worst domestic violence that we've seen in Ascension. He is an armed and dangerous guy, so anybody he comes in contact with could be a target.
Now, Summer's mom tells police there were no red flags, and police say Terrio was not on their radar before this killing spree. Authorities, guys, have still not released a motive for this.
Horrifying case.
It is horrifying.
Ariel, thank you. We want to turn now to the long, slow process of reopening shuttered government offices. Here's the latest right now. With the tax filing season set to begin Monday, a government watchdog group overseeing the IRS is warning about a major backlog at the agency. The Washington Post reporting the National Taxpayer Advocate told House staffers it could take a year or more for the IRS to catch up. The status of the State of the Union is still up in the air. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying she's working with the White House to come up with a new date for the president's address, but insists it will not take place this Tuesday. What will be happening on Tuesday? The Smithsonian museums will be opening their doors once again. The shutdown cost the complex of 19 museums $1 million in revenue each week it was closed.
And a new ABC News Washington Post poll just released this morning finds support for House Democrats' investigations of President Trump. It shows 57% of Americans support House Democrats using their authority to investigate possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, while 61% of Americans also say they support the investigations into possible financial ties between Trump and foreign governments.
Meanwhile, overnight, President Trump taking aim at the special counsel over his latest move, the indictment of Trump's longtime associate and advisor, Roger Stone. George Stephanopoulos is standing by for more on this, but let's start here with ABC News White House correspondent Tara Palmieri, who's right there at the White House. Tara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. That's right. The president is lashing out at the special counsel, but this story is not going away. In fact, it will take center stage again this week when Roger Stone is arraigned on Tuesday. President Trump's longtime political advisor, Roger Stone, out on bail and firing back at special counsel Robert Mueller.
This was an egregious overreach by Mr. Mueller. The FBI director who had to have approved this raid should, in my opinion, be fired over it because it was unwarranted. I guess it's an effort to intimidate me, but I am not intimidated.
As part of the special counsel's investigation into possible Russian collusion with the Trump campaign, Mueller indicted Stone on 7 counts, including obstruction, witness tampering, and lying to Congress. One of Stone's associates, Jerome Corsi, admitting that his hours of testimony with the special counsel may have led to Stone's indictment.
I'm going to say what's in the indictment is accurate. If called, I will testify to what's there. I won't differ one word from it. It's correct. Now, if that helps Roger Stone or hurts him, let the chips fall where they may.
In a statement, Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House will continue to exercise their constitutional oversight responsibility, adding that Stone's indictment proves, quote, there was a deliberate, coordinated attempt by Trump campaign officials to influence the 2016 election and subvert the will of the American people. These court documents filed by the special counsel cast Stone as an intermediary between the Trump campaign and WikiLeaks, which published emails Russia stole from the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
Prosecutors allege Stone was in contact with the organization during the lead up to the election, seeking information that would be damaging to Hillary Clinton. Mueller does not indicate who it was that directed the campaign official to reach out to Stone. But Stone now denies having any contact with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and claims he did not relay information to the campaign about the hacks.
The allegation that 2 campaign officials instructed me or inquired of me about WikiLeaks is false.
And now the president is already distancing himself from Roger Stone, a self-described dirty trickster who advised the campaign until 2015 when he departed. President Trump tweeted, quote, Roger Stone didn't even work for me anywhere near the election. Witch hunt. Dan?
Tara Palmieri at the White House. Thank you for more on this. As advertised, let's bring in our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be hosting this week later this morning.
Guys.
Good morning, sir. So I know you're going to have Roger Stone on the show this morning. Unclear whether he'll wear his beret. How much of a threat, if any, do you think Stone's indictment poses to the president?
I don't think we know yet. I mean, it was in Tara's piece that the most interesting paragraph in the indictment is the one that says a senior campaign official was directed to talk to Roger Stone about WikiLeaks. Who directed a senior campaign official? Who is the senior campaign official? If one of those 2 people is Donald Trump, that could pose some kind, it could at least raise questions for the president. But if I were Roger Stone, I'd be a little bit worried about that tweet from the president last night. You know, in the past several weeks, in fact, the last time Roger Stone was on our show back in December, the president went out tweeting very much in support of Roger Stone. Now he's saying he didn't even work for me for very long. In fact, Roger Stone is Donald Trump's longest serving political advisor. They were introduced by Roy Cohn almost 3 decades ago, and he's never been fully out of Donald Trump's orbit.
So this could be a sign of trouble, if not at least distancing. So let's talk about the ABC News Washington Post poll that Eva was talking about a few moments ago. One of the other nuggets from that poll is that 6 in 10 Americans say they would support the Democrats in Congress going after Donald Trump's tax returns. Do you think the Democrats are likely to do that? And if they do it, can they actually get those returns?
They've already said they will. And there's a law that gives the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, now run by Democrats, the chairman is a man named Richard Neal, or the chair of the Joint Tax Committee, the ability to request those tax returns. Now, it's very possible, even though the law is very, very clear, that the administration, Donald Trump, the Treasury Department will try to fight that, will take it to the courts. How that will work out, I don't know for sure, although I said the law is quite clear. I think what the Democrats are trying to do is to first lay the groundwork for why they want the tax returns, what connection it might have to public policy or possible violations of the Emoluments Clause, say, of the Constitution by Donald Trump, or perhaps corruption in the past before they actually make the request.
Got to leave it there, George. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning. Be sure to tune in to This Week later this morning for George's Sunday morning exclusive with Roger Stone, following his indictment by the special counsel just days ago. Plus, this morning, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff, will come on the show to respond. It's all coming up on This Week right here on ABC. George, thanks again.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Well, now to the new details emerging this morning about that dramatic video showing a wild ride on a Massachusetts highway. Police saying flared tempers led to this dangerous scene with a gun getting into the mix.
This morning, jarring new video of that dangerous road rage incident. A man clinging to the windshield of this white SUV as it picks up speed on a packed Massachusetts turnpike.
I thought he was going to run over me.
The driver, 37-year-old Mark Fitzgerald, appearing to accelerate.
I just kept telling him, stop the car, and he wouldn't stop.
Authorities say at one point the car reached speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, traveling 3 miles with 65-year-old Richard Komrowski dangling on the hood. Watch as the husband of the woman filming this video gets out of their car trying to intervene. Another man then walking into frame, pointing a gun at Fitzgerald, coaxing him out of the driver's seat just as officers arrive. Police say the harrowing ordeal stemmed from a minor sideswipe spiraling out of control after a verbal altercation between the two men, both arrested at the scene.
And both men are now facing charges. They're scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. One other note, police say the citizen who pulled the gun on at that scene to help stop the driver was a licensed gun owner. But it's a reminder of just how dangerous it can be when you get involved with another driver on the road. It's not worth it.
There's something about our minds that shifts into crazy gear when road rage hits.
Exactly.
We all have that in us, depending on the day.
Got to hold it back. Thank you, Eva. We do have some breaking news that we want to get to out of the Philippines this morning, where 2 bombs were detonated in a Roman Catholic cathedral on a southern island filled with worshipers celebrating Sunday Mass. At least 20 people killed, another 81 wounded in the blast. Police say the first explosion happened inside the church, and then moments later, another bomb went off outside, this time wounding and killing police and government troops responding to the initial blast. The region is home to several Muslim militant groups.
Meanwhile, back here at home, we do have, and this is a gear switch here, some good news this morning about that 3-year-old boy who spent more than 2 nights alone in the woods of North Carolina. He survived heavy rains and freezing temperatures. Casey Hathaway is his name. He's out of the hospital and back at home with his family. His mother saying he is, quote, healthy and smiling. Casey was found tangled in vines. He was unable to move. He was just a quarter mile from his great-grandmother's house, where he disappeared on Tuesday.
And police officers in Chicago are being warned after disturbing videos show an armed man making threats about killing cops, with a second man also flashing a gun.
And now police are searching for the suspects. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is live this morning with the very latest. Marcy, good morning.
Guys, good morning. Those threats made against police in general, as well as an unsuspecting officer seen driving in one of those videos. Investigators say they are taking these threats very seriously. This morning, Chicago police searching for the men in these viral videos threatening to shoot police.
We gonna kill him.
The videos reposted on a police support Facebook page called Chicago Code Blue. The first now has 1.4 million views. In it, the 2 men flash guns and make repeated threats about the officer in the SUV next to them.
I'ma shoot this in public.
In a second post, one of the men denies that was him in the initial video.
And that video fake, man. Whoever made that will kill y'all.
And makes more threats against law enforcement.
It look like they gonna do anything to me, I'm gonna start shooting. I ain't gonna lie to you on this one.
Chicago police say their social media team discovered the videos almost instantly and shared them internally with all officers, warning them to be on alert.
So it's very important for all of us standing here to track social media, because that's how a lot of things get started.
And investigators say they know who the men are, but they aren't releasing their names because charges have not been filed. Police are now trying to find them so they can question them about these videos. Dan?
Marcy, thank you. To Venezuela now, where the embattled president, Nicolas Maduro, has avoided a showdown with the United States by backing down from his demand that American diplomats leave that country within 72 hours. He's now extended that deadline to 30 days. This, as the American Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, went to the UN Security Council and urged countries to support the opposition leader, Juan Guaido, who the U.S. and others now recognize as the president of Venezuela.
In Brazil, the search for survivors from that collapsed dam suspended this morning. That just happened because of fears that another dam could break as the death toll from that catastrophic dam collapse soars to at least 40, with up to 300 people still missing. There had been this desperate search by air and on the ground to find the missing, buried under a river of muddy mining waste. The company that owns that mine saying more than 250 of its employees are unaccounted for. The dam gave way Friday during lunchtime when many workers were on their break.
In Paris, meantime, a mural by graffiti artist Banksy painted in tribute to the victims of the 2015 terror attack at the Bataclan Theater has been stolen. The drawing of a sad woman bowing her head, believed to be worth millions, was sketched onto an emergency door at the music venue. Investigators say they found a screwdriver at the scene, and witnesses have reported seeing a white van nearby during the night between Friday and Saturday. 90 people were killed at the Bataclan Theater terror attack.
Let's get back to the weather, and Rob is here with more. Rob, you were saying before, correct terminology here. This is a polar vortex. This is a lobe of a polar vortex.
We want to give it's a lobe of the polar. We're getting a little chunk of the polar vortex. It's cold. That's pretty much it right there.
You don't want to be stuck in the lobe, basically.
No, the lobe is always a dangerous spot. Unless you want to ski in it. All right, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, check this out. They've had about 30 inches of snow in the past 3 days, and the guy that shot this sent this over to us and said this is some of the deepest snow he's ever seen and skied in. Inbounds. You see the fresh stuff there. So nice northwest flow, bringing in the light, fluffy stuff for the Tetons and the northern Rockies as well. All right, so we've got some light, fluffy stuff for that first couple of clipper systems that are moving through. Watches and warnings. Take a look at this. We have winter storm warnings now that have been posted for La Crosse, Wisconsin, and through Minneapolis as well. Blizzard warnings for parts of the Dakotas, and high wind warnings as well. If you're traveling on I-90 or on 80, stiff crosswinds, 50, 60 miles an hour. This is going to bring some snow into Chicago Monday morning. And Tuesday night, a rain and snow mixed through the Northeast, but the big story obviously is the cold, and we could see those 6 to 12 inches of snow from Minneapolis, just north, I think, of Chicago, mostly north of I-90, where we'll see most of the heaviest snow. That's a check on what's happening weather-wise across the nation. It's time now for a look at your local forecast.
Hello and good morning, Washington. Milder air today, highs around 50 degrees. Do have the chance for a stray shower as we go through the afternoon and evening. For the most part, it'll be dry, though. We're looking at colder air on Monday, 41 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Rain to snow on Tuesday, 46, dropping through the afternoon and evening. 30 degrees with some flurries possible on Wednesday. Timing this out, the Tuesday evening rush could be problematic. That could last into Wednesday morning. Coldest day of your 7-day outlook. Thursday, highs in the mid-20s.
Looking to avoid all things lobish, one thing that Whit and I have in common is we don't have earlobes. Huh? Right? Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
We're no lobe guys.
Yeah. Small earlobes.
You never noticed that, Dan. How long have we known each other? You never noticed that.
Wow.
Clearly, I wasn't looking. I think
really important.
I think the issue is really on your end.
It might be a little creepy if he was staring at your face. That part.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Want to switch gears and talk a little bit this morning about somebody that longtime GMA watchers may remember. We want to remember a member of the ABC News family. His name is Steve Bell. He was a former anchor here. He passed away at the age of 83 after a career, really a stellar career, covering major historical events for us. The tributes are pouring in from friends and colleagues of a legendary newsman.
Steve Bell down in Washington, and he's got all the news. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
He was tapped as the first news anchor with the privilege of waking up America.
Good morning. This is
right
Steve
here at
Bell.
ABC.